If you thought our treasure hunting was over, you were sadly mistaken. We're here at one of the most famous treasure hunts of the last 10 years at least, and I hope we don't get cursed. That was Oak Island, and if you don't know about the curse of Oak Island, which is a 12-year-long running series on the History Channel about them digging for treasure on Oak Island, you should go check that out. It's really fun, lots of adventures and misadventures as they try to find this treasure while filming it. We were incredibly lucky because they haven't done any tours since 2019, and we just happened to be here as they were starting to kick off tours again, and literally we were on the 4th tour that they had planned out of 4. So they don't have any other planned yet, but they're hoping to start doing more in the future. I learned a whole lot, and I'm not a huge fan of the show. Like, I don't follow it religiously, but it's one of those shows that if I'm like in a hotel or somewhere that has cable, I always put it on because it's so fascinating. So the tour was really fun. It was done by like people that you see on the show, and I think that's really cool. It kind of makes it feel a little bit like more authentic, right? Versus them trying to just hire some other tour guys to tell you stuff. It's like people that you see on the show that are doing the treasure hunting. They're so invested into the history of Oak Island that they went an hour over, and that's how much information you just kept giving us more and more, and I really appreciated that. If you're wondering where I am with this beautiful background, I'm at Ovens Natural Park, and it is a campground. If you have an RV under 30 feet, you can come, or tent camp, or they have vacation rentals. They have a pool, they have ocean access, and the one thing that really got us excited, other than the beautiful view, is that they have gold panning. So we panned a little yesterday. We didn't film it, but you've seen our panning videos. We have plenty of those you can check out. The other thing that we're really excited for is they have a trail along this awesome cliff that has a bunch of sea caves. So let's go check that out.
We just finished the sea cave trail out here, and it is beautiful. There are 4 sea caves that you can see on the trail, and my favorite was Thunder Cave because we couldn't tell if it was the water or the wind, but when one of them hit the cave just right, it sounded like thunder. There are a lot of signs out here that say enter at your own risk, and I have to admit this is the first place where I felt like I really needed to adhere to those because it is a little shady. The fencing and the structures that they've built so you can see the sea caves seem extremely old, which would make sense because Ovens Cove Campground claims to be the oldest campground in Nova Scotia. We had stairs that were sinking a couple inches when you stepped on them, or fences that if you leaned on them were literally shaking. So just keep away from all of that kind of stuff if you do come. We're packing up today and heading out to our next adventure, and you're coming along.
started out our journey, put in our destination in GPS, which is just a town on the scenic road that we want to be driving. And all of a sudden we go a mile and we end up on a ferry. So we're on the Le Havre ferry. I think things like this, surprises like this, are one of my favorite parts of RV life.
Hey, did you know we made a tank treatment? It's called Tank Tune-Up, and it's a no-filler powder that breaks down waste, kills odors, and even cleans your tank sensors. Click the link in our description or find it on Amazon to get yours. We've made it to Kejimkujik National Park, and we find ourselves on the Hemlocks and Hardwoods Trail, which is one of the most popular trails here, and for good reason. Old-growth hemlock trees are really rare to see, so this is one of the few places where you can do it. What's really cool about this trail is they have signage throughout that explains what you're looking at, because let's be honest, we don't know a lot of our trees. We're not those people who can look at a tree and go, oh, that's a blah, blah, blah. So the signage is really helpful because you get to see and understand what you're looking at and the type of growth.
Yeah, so far that's been the most interesting part for me because, like Ray said, I'm not really a tree guy. And so being able to like go into these different sections of forest that feel and look completely different because it's like different types of trees are thriving through this process is really cool. Like they have pines, oaks, hemlocks, birch, and like these different little sub-forests are all so different and so cool.
Because the trail actually starts out with where they used to log and have had a wildfire. So you get to see the beginning stages of growth, and aspen kind of comes in first, but then the pines come in second and they grow taller than the aspen and they kill them. And then you eventually get your hemlocks coming in after that. So walking the whole trail, you get to see how a forest technically ages. This is actually the only activity we're going to get to do in this national park because of where we're heading to next and we need to get there. But if you come to this national park, one of the things that I really wanted to do, and it just didn't work out with the days of the week, is the kayak tour to go see the old petroglyphs. And they have camping here, so it would be really easy to just book a couple nights here, do a ton of hiking, do some kayaking. If you do come here, make sure to just check their scheduling because they don't do every activity every day. They only do it a couple times a week, so just make sure you come on the days that they're doing the things you want to do. The newer growth section of hemlock before you get to the old growth section of hemlock is really cool because this is the stage where they grow and they create a canopy and it blocks out the sun for anything underneath it. So you get this really weird forest where there's no growth on the ground and the hemlocks create a canopy and their lower branches kind of fall off.
Yeah.
So they almost look like dead trees, but they're not.
Because it's all up top in the canopy.
And it's really cool because it's so much cooler because of the canopy. And it's just a little bit creepier because there's nothing else really growing there.
Yeah, you can see a lot further.
We've officially made it to the old growth forest section, and they've built this boardwalk for people because the ecosystem on the ground and the root system of the hemlocks is so sensitive that they built this boardwalk so you could walk over it and still enjoy such a beautiful area and not negatively impact it. This eastern hemlock behind me is the oldest one and the largest one in this forest. It is estimated to be about 400 years old, and it is pretty cool. It basically has another whole tree growing off the side of it there. So this hemlock is pretty cool because it started growing in the moss on top of this rock, and then the root system reached all the way down into the ground. And there's a sign right here next to it that says, please stop climbing the rock, please stop stepping on the roots, because it's harming the tree and we don't think it's gonna survive if everyone keeps doing that. And we are here to see the aftermath of that because it did not survive. This sign is obviously old because it's still asking people not to climb onto the rock and the root system, but as you can tell, people obviously didn't stop or something happened, because now this is what this old growth hemlock looks like now. I wish we could have seen this in its prime on the rock, but this is why you're supposed to listen to signage, people. I can now see why this is one of the most popular hikes in the park, because it's relatively easy. It's only 3 miles and you get to see something super rare, which is the old growth hemlocks. But we're now approaching the parking lot, and because this is one of the most popular trails, the parking lot when we got here was really full. So we had to park on the side of the road, and other cars were kind of just packed into the parking lot. And so I'm a little nervous. I'm really hoping someone left, because with the way it was before, there was no space to turn around. Okay, moment of truth. Has anybody left? Oh no, I hope that car's not pulling into a spot we might need to turn around in. Oh, perfect. They just turned around too. All right, we got room to turn around. Oh no, but are we gonna have room to get out? Another RV parked right behind us. I think we're good. We'll see. Piece of cake. That's what we love about the truck camper. And how do you feel about that hike?